everyone, and welcome back to another video. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to get out on the tracks as of late, just because there's been a lot of wet weather and whatnot, so I don't generally go camping in wet weather. I've also had some pretty crazy work commitments lately, so I haven't had much of a chance to really get out. So today I figured I'd go out and I'd film a couple of videos just on a friend's property, and I'm going to just cover off on some basic four-wheel driving tips and tricks, you know, for anyone that's first starting out. So it's just things like tire pressure, how to let a tire down, you know. I'll probably do a second video where I cover off on some of the basics of winching and whatnot. I'm also going to do a video where I have a bit of a walkthrough of my car and sort of show you, you know, how it's set up and give an honest review of a 79 Series Land Cruiser. I've owned the car for literally about 6 years, since brand new, and I just want to cover off on some of the pros, some of the cons, some of the, you know, things that I would improve or have improved, you know, and just sort of do a little bit of a comparison, I guess, compared to some of the other, you know, vehicles that are out there on the market. So just bear with me. I will just got to get up into the top paddock here, so I'm away from distractions and a few of the other people, so I don't bother anybody, and then we'll jump right into the video and I'll be able to show you a few little bits and pieces. So stay tuned, and we'll catch you in a minute. Alright, so we're not quite at the top paddock here yet, but I figured I'd just show you, because this is how much rain we've actually had out here. So I just left my car in two-wheel drive and I thought, oh yeah, it's alright, I'll get out, no problems. But have a look at this. So usually I can drive this in two-wheel drive, and there's this little spot just up through the trees here where it's nice and open, you know, go camping, that kind of thing. But the ground is just so soft and so wet that not a chance. So I'll start off, I guess, by just showing people the very first thing you need to do when you go four-wheel driving. If you're new, you need to know, I guess, whether or not your car has a manual locking hub or automated hubs. Some cars have automated hubs. Mine has manual locking hubs. The newer 79s have auto locking hubs. So if you're new to four-wheel driving and you don't know, it's pretty easy to tell. You just have a look at the wheel here and you can see it's a bit dirty, but you've got free and you've got lock. Now they're in the free mode at the moment, so for a manual locking hub, obviously you turn it over to lock like so. There's one on either side, so you've got to do the one on this side too. And now basically the front wheels, when you engage four-wheel drive, will turn as well. So it's very important to know whether or not you have that. A lot of the auto locking hubs now, if you just put the car in four-wheel drive, it'll just work straight away. So, you know, again, just have a look. If they are auto locking ones, usually it might have a nut there where you can still manually lock them, but some of them don't. So if there's nothing there, usually you have a selector. For me in here, my selector is, just let me get in the car. I have the second stick for the transfer case. So we've got high 2, high 4, neutral and low 4. Now hopefully I won't have to let the tires down to get out of here now, but oh geez, I don't even know if it'll let me get it out. It doesn't want to let me get it in four-wheel drive. So sometimes if the stick gets a little jammed, you can just sort of reverse a little bit or whatever. It can just be, you know. So now I'm in high 4, you've got the selector on there, but I'll actually go into low 4 if it'll let me. There we go. So in this, you just got to lift it a little bit and pull it down, and you go into low 4. So from here we should hopefully be able to just oh, I haven't quite got it in full drive, it was in neutral. There we go. So from here we should be able to just crawl out of this no problems, and we'll just go out. There's a nice little paddock on the other side here where we can go through a few more bits and pieces. It's a bit tight through here though, and it's a little bit overgrown because we haven't been out here in a while. But sometimes when I can't get away from, you know, work or the city or whatever, only got like a short place, like, you know, a short time to go somewhere, me and my friends will come up into this top paddock here. It's nicely sort of tucked away, and yeah, we can just sort of set up camp and have a bit of fun. Yeah, that's got that soft patch back there, so when it rains a lot, you've got to be, you know, just careful or mindful of that, because you can go down pretty easy. I thought I might have been getting like proper stuck, but thankfully I stopped before it got too bad. So for some of the beginner tips for four-wheel driving, so we've covered off now on locking the hubs. The next thing I'm going to explain is, hey, look, a kangaroo just cruising through there. So the next thing I'm going to cover off on is your hand placement. Now, it's very, very important when you're four-wheel driving to make sure you keep your thumbs outside the steering wheel, always outside. The reason for this is because if you have your thumbs in here and you're trying to hold onto the steering wheel for dear life, whether you're going down a hard bit of track or something, if your front tire was to hit something and your steering wheel turns real fast, you can actually really injure your thumbs or your wrists or whatever else. I've had it happen to me. Despite my many years of four-wheel driving, I have had it happen to me, and you know, it sucks, it hurts, and you'll only do it once and then you'll remember. So thumbs always outside of the steering wheel. The next most important thing is knowing basically where the your things are for your four-wheel driving, like where all your, you know, controls are. So in a manual, you've got obviously your gear stick and everything down here. In an auto, you're going to have everything, you know, sort of doing it itself. It's pretty straightforward, but it's still good to know how to operate an automatic transmission to make it hold itself in a gear. So you want to put it in either the low mode or, you know, second or third or whatever, because sometimes you don't want the car changing gears going up a hill, just like you don't want it changing gears going down a hill. So a lot of cars now have like descent assist and that kind of stuff, so you know, it's not really as big a deal. But for this one, so I've got the manual transmission obviously in here. That's all the freaking the 7.9s come with. You can do auto conversions and stuff, but I don't have that kind of money. So I always, like, I'm in low range, I've got first gear, and that's what we were crawling through with before. When you're going to come down a hill, it's, you know, always try to just let the car just do the work. So you just crawl down and whatnot. There's another kangaroo down there. So if this was a really steep hill, you could just let the car in first gear. I don't have my foot on the throttle or anything right now, so you can just let the car just crawl down and whatnot. If it was slippery or if it was rocky or whatever, it can do that. Sometimes, you know, you got to be careful, it might stall, but generally in low range you're going to be pretty safe. So we'll just, this is another thing you probably shouldn't really do, but it's only a really low little hill, so we'll be all right. Try to minimize turning on hills and stuff. Well, I might go in a second just because it's a bit jumpy in first. So yeah, try not to go like drive sideways along hills and stuff like that, especially steep hills, because it just, again, you're gonna have a risk of like rolling over or whatever else. Now the next one I'm going to do for you is just for you know, a little bit of help or whatever, is I know that there's some people out there that may or may not know how to use a tire deflator. So I'll grab my tire deflator out, I'll hook it all up, and I'll show you how it works. I'm not going to let the air out of my tires because I don't want to have to do them back up. So first of all, there's many different kinds of tire deflators. I've just got, ugh, bang your head there. All right, so I've just got one of these. It's just a King's, I guess, quickie tire deflator. It's nothing too crazy. You don't have to spend big money. I think this was about, I think I actually got it for free as part of some of the other stuff that I bought, but it's very simple to use. I know a few people don't know how to use them, so we'll just, all you do, you take your valve cap off, like so. Try not to lose it, because it's a pain. I usually just hold it in my hand. Now, you get this bit here, and you just screw it on. Takes a little bit, but you screw it on here like so. Once you got it screwed on, you take this bit here, which is the, I guess, the round wheel. What this does is it actually pulls the valve core out of the middle of the valve. So you leave this big bit here pushed forward. I'll just, so you got this big bit here, leave that pushed forward. You push this in here, and you'll feel like you got to turn it a little bit. You'll feel it sort of grab the valve core, and then what you do is you turn. So you sort of push and turn at the same time. Give me a minute. So you push and turn at the same time, and eventually I think it'll pull the, yeah, so if you hear the air rushing out, you know you're sort of done a good job, it's working. But it does take a bit of getting used to. When you pull that out, it should pull the valve out, and then when you pull back on the big part here, that's what lets the air out. So the valve core is out, it's in this little bit here, it's pulled the valve out. So now when you pull this big bit back, it lets air out of the tyre. Now I'm not obviously going to let my tyres down, like I said, I don't need to. We're not doing any actual full driving today, it was just more so to get through that little boggy part. But that's basically how you use a valve tool. Now obviously you don't unscrew it while it's like that, you have to push this back in whenever you finish letting your air out. You push this back in until you feel it's firm. So see, that's firm now, like it doesn't really want to turn anymore. And that, if you pull this back now, like so, it's not actually going to let any more air out. So that's how you know it's all good. And then you just unscrew it off of here. Sorry about the shonky camera work, I'm still learning how to do that, but hopefully it'll get better. And then all you do, pop your valve cap back on just to protect it, and that's how it's done. So nice easy one there for you, very easy to let the tires down, repeat it all the way around. There are some other tire deflators and stuff out on the market that basically you can do multiple tires at once. So you'd put one on each front tire, for example, and the valve thing will be in the middle, and you just pop it and you can do 2 tires at the same time. So you know, that's another one, but again, you don't really need anything that expensive, it just saves a little bit of time. That'll be it for, I guess, the main part of the beginner's basics. You know, like there's probably stuff I've missed. If there's other more experienced four-wheel drivers out there who, you know, want to add something to it, or feels I missed an important tip, you know, just, yeah, obviously feel free to add it. The other best piece of advice I'll give you on closing is just, when you go out for your first time, try to go out with somebody rather than going out by yourself, because at least then you've got someone with you in case something happens. And just carry some basic recovery gear, because, you know, there's nothing worse than getting out there and, you know, you've got absolutely nothing to get yourself out if you do get stuck. So that's what I advise. All right, thanks for that. I'll see you in the next one.